This week on Addicted to the Outdoors.
Well, this week on Addicted, we are headed back to Wisconsin to our good buddy Johnny O's place.
Thank you to the Brunsons and Grizzly.
Time to shit 'em up.
You're on steady and just squeeze.
You ready?
But sometimes these bucks just don't want to read the script.
We kind of came up with this idea to do the best of the Johnny O hunts. Felt like I held forever.
He looks up at us and I'm like, we have been busted.
And here comes an absolute bruiser. I mean, just an old battle axe. You never know when that big buck's gonna walk by.
My adrenaline is going crazy.
Born and raised by a hunting family in the swamps of Florida and shooting a bow by 8 years old, Jon Brunson took to hunting early. Gina grew up fishing with her father, but it was weekend hunting trips with Jon that put big game blood under her fingernails for the first time. Even now, with raising 6 kids and running 3 companies, Jon and Gina are still a fistful of dirt couple that take life by the antlers. Sound familiar? If so, pull up a stump with the Brunsons, because they are addicted to the outdoors.
Man, what a buck.
Well, this week on Addicted, we are headed back to Wisconsin to our good buddy Johnny O's place. This has definitely become maybe our favorite all-time whitetail place to hunt. And this year, we're doing something a little different. Gina and I have been doing TV for 17 years, and we've been hunting together a lot longer than that. We kind of made a decision that we were going to dig in, we were going to ditch camera guys this year, and really kind of get back to the way we used to hunt, 20 years ago. And that's hunting together, spending time together in the stand.
Well, Johnny O's is definitely one of our favorite places to go. Over the years, he's put us on some great bucks. And this week, we're hoping he can make it happen again.
So our plan getting into camp is pretty much the same as always. Get out there with the crossbow, check it, make sure nothing got bumped on the flight. Dead on the money. Dead, perfect shot.
Well, after getting into camp and catching up with Johnny O, man, I was excited to get out there and chase some deer.
I put a new Waterhole in, it's brand new this year, so there's a Waterhole there, but it's a big bowl system and it's comes down, it's kind of a staging before you get to the fields.
Okay.
So we can creep in there pretty slow and quiet. I'll try and drop you right at the tree.
Okay.
So almost every day we've seen a pretty good buck there.
Okay. Well, we'll slip in there and get set up, see if we can get the little one,
Whack one.
Get one down. Well, that first sit in the stand, me and Gina dug in. We hunted the second half of the day. You ready? Our first sit in November.
Yeah, it's cold.
Well, it's not bad. It's 40.
It's cold.
I think tomorrow's supposed to be 12.
I know. Hopefully I shoot some tonight.
Let's dig in and see if we can shoot one. All right. Love you, babe.
Love you too.
A little quiet for Johnny O's. We saw a few deer. We saw a nice 8 that wasn't a shooter.
Our first buck.
He's a nice buck. That's one of those 8-pointers. He's mature.
He was pretty tall.
Yeah, he's just, you can shoot what you want, but there's a lot bigger 8s than 9. If you want to smoke an 8 or 9, there's some 145, 150s running through here.
That was the first buck we saw on the trip. And while he was pretty nice, we were definitely waiting to hold out for his bigger brother.
Wasn't really concerned because it's Johnny O's, but again, it was a little quieter than normal. It's time to shoot a buck.
Time to shoot a buck.
Well, unfortunately, Gina and I hunted the rest of the week. It was just one of those deals, the conditions were right, the temperature was right, the right time of the year, but all we were seeing was little bucks and does. We were pretty sure most of our big boys were locked down. During that rut, you know the drill. When they get pinned down with those does, I mean, it's hard to get them to leave the real thing. So we did have, somewhat of an opportunity at one buck that we couldn't get a shot on.
And he looked back, but then immediately walked off. And after a couple more days in the woods, we just had to come to terms with the fact that sometimes not every trip is a slam dunk.
So after camping out the rest of the week, sun up and sundown, and it just not happening, at this point, it was time for us to pack up and move on to our next trip. But, all in all, very quiet for Johnny O's, and, definitely a first for us. One of the things I really wanted to do was shoot a buck out of the new Grizzly Blinds. It didn't happen for us, so when we were leaving, I kind of made a comment to Johnny because he's a big blind guy. He loves those blinds. I'm like, man, if you get out there and hunt that blind and shoot something, you need to let me know.
This is my 2019 archery whitetail. We just shot from the new Grizzly Blind last night.
It wasn't too long after we left, I got a picture of Johnny O, with a 170-inch deer right in front of the blind.
We got it done, 2019. Thank you to the Brunsons and Grizzly. It paid off.
We didn't want to leave and not have a Johnny O show. So we kind of came up with this idea to do the best of the Johnny O hunts because we've been hunting there so many years and we've killed so many good bucks. So we decided we'd do a little flashback and show some of our favorite deer that we've taken there in the past. Well, first up on our best of Johnny O's hunts from the past is a big old bruiser that I took. I want to say, man, I think it was my first or second year there. Towards the end of the day, sitting there kind of wondering if it was going to happen. All of a sudden I hear leaves crunching. I turn over my right shoulder and here comes an absolute old bruiser. I mean, just an old battle axe. Nice, wide, heavy deer. Perfect buck to take.
Ryan, be still. Big buck to the right. That's that old buck, he's the one. He's probably on his downswing. That is an old deer. That is an old bruiser. I mean, that is a freaking phenomenal buck to kill. Just an old, look at that, old, mature. You know, he's the 11.
But look at the mass.
Oh yeah, he's nice.
He's an old buck.
Nice
He's an old booger. He was all gimpy. Big old bruiser. Look at that mass, man.
Good job. The freaking schwagging on him.
That's my first Wisconsin deer. Oh, geez, he's a big boy.
Look at that. Look how wide he is, heavy.
One of my favorite bucks I took off of Johnny O's farm was actually just last season. It was a mean old buck that Johnny O wanted gone, so he was at the top of the hit list.
Scoring away. I know, I see him.
My adrenaline is going crazy, and all of a sudden he looks up at us and I'm like, oh my gosh, we have been busted.
There's a pile right there, Johnny. Right there.
We could see when we tracked her deer, it bedded down a dozen times in just a small little area, but it bedded down real close. We found that deer 75 yards from where she shot it.
Oh, there he is.
Man, I was so happy.
Well, he's heavier than
Yeah, his brow tines are huge.
He's got pretty good mass.
Yeah.
He must have just hooked the beam right here and just twisted it and busted it.
Yeah, he's a good old deer.
So the next hunt up for me is a nice 9-pointer that I took out of the honey hole. Johnny-O's got this 8-point gene and this 9-point gene that's kind of running through his farm that we've been trying to eradicate. So at this point, towards the end of the hunt, I told Johnny-O, hey, if a big bruiser doesn't come in and I see one of those management 8s or management 9s, I'm gonna put a swacker through him.
He's right behind us. Here we go. He's coming in.
He's done. Watch him, you on him? He's down. Keep going, just stay on him. He's going right now. See him? Just stay on him. He's done. This is the buck you want to kill right here. When he told me that there was an old buck back up at this same stand, I'm like, man, I gotta go get him. No teeth. Oh, man.
Once an old one killed, they just put you in the spot.
Right, man.
Yeah, he's got the green oozing out.
Oh, he's got mass.
I brought the 2 sheds.
Oh,
So we'll match them up. I think
nice.
I think it's going to be the same.
This old buck was really cool because Johnny-O had years of pictures of him and several years worth of sheds.
Let's drop that.
He just dropped that off, yeah, here.
I mean, there's no 2 different years. I wish I would have marked it. I don't know which one was older.
This is probably last year because he's losing this point.
Yeah.
You see it?
Another buck I have fond memories of was actually just a couple years ago. And this buck ended up walking right underneath my stand. And I wasn't gonna let him slide by. So all these things are going on while we're still getting ready. He's drinking at the water. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna miss this opportunity. So somehow we get it all together and he's still sitting there just drinking. He's nice and relaxed. And he decides to come right in front of me.
Huge blood trail. We only had to walk 30 yards and there was a deer so we could get in there and out without disturbing anything. So that worked out great too.
Yeah, I'm just broken off here. This is a great management buck. He's extremely old. He's got a lot of genes running around here. And we have been trying over the last couple of years to get all these nines out of here.
So the last buck up for me on the best of Johnny O's is definitely one of my favorite bucks, and it was just really because of how it all went down. You know, it's kind of towards the end of the day, and then all of a sudden I look up and I see a shooter kind of back off in the hardwoods, and he's with a doe. So at this point I'm like, oh man, you know, it's gonna be hard to get him up here. You know, it's hard to pull him away from the real thing. So I kind of tried something to just see if it would work. When I saw this buck down in the bottom, you know, I caught a quick glimpse of his rack and I'm like, okay, this is a shooter. You know, I started thinking about a little bit of calling, and then he made a scrape. So as he was making that scrape, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna just hit a few grunts. At that point, he really wasn't far from the water. I went to full draw on him and felt like I held forever. And I'm like, man, the first shot I get, this guy's going down. That arrow was through him in the ground before he even knew it hit him. And then it was really, really cool how he went down. You know, he literally went about 10 yards and he had no idea what happened. And he was just standing there and perfectly normal. And all of a sudden I see a little bit of a teeter and I'm like, okay, here we go. Then he starts to go down, catches himself, starts to go down, catches himself. Next thing you know, bam, he face plants. He just stood back up again, almost like he just shook it off. You could tell he was fighting it. Just tipped over like a 2x4. He just.
Schwacked another one, baby. He is down. 30 yards in front of me. He did not go 7 yards. Best broadhead in the world right there. I have killed, I'd say over 60 animals with a schwacker, and my longest tracking job has been about 50 yards. Most of them are like this right here. Yeah, he's gonna score. Look at all the time length. He should be in the 50s. Look at the eye guards. Yeah, I think he's in the 50s. Boom, baby. He's gonna score. He's gonna be in the 50s. He's gonna be in the 50s. Look at this dagger like your Kentucky buck.
Nice, congratulations, babe.
Mm-hmm. Look at it, it's just like your Kentucky buck.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it is.
Got the little dagger.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Right there.
You know, it is what it is. It's hunting. You know, Gina and I dug in for a full week. We camped out sun up to sundown. We put in our time. You know, we did everything right. It's just, they're wild animals. It's deer hunters. I mean, these deer, they're just, you know, crazy animals. They're finicky. They evolve quickly. They're smart. And I always say it, you know, hunting mature deer is like playing a chess game. and most of the time they win.
All in all, we may not have tagged out this year like we're used to, but John and I got to spend a lot of quality time in the woods together.
But even though it was, I won't say a rough trip, it was a fun trip for me and Gina. We enjoyed hunting together, but all in all, we just didn't get it done. But you know, as far as the trip goes, we had a lot of fun hunting together, had a lot of fun hanging out with Johnny and Jamie.
And I know we're coming back next season, and hopefully with a little more luck.